Well, hi, folks. This is Lowell Ann, and welcome to Being Your Own CEO interview series. My goal here is to introduce local Victoria solo entrepreneurs by giving them some profile on Google Plus and on YouTube, and to help them get started in this whole new Google world. I just love finding out what makes a business person tick. You know, what makes them tick as a business person. Because I know that we can all of our listeners, we can all learn an awful lot from the observations that we might gain from hearing a business person's story. So today I want to introduce to everyone Cheryl Relf. And she's going to be with us for the next 30 minutes. So, are you having fun yet on Google Plus, Cheryl?
Oh yes, thank you. We had a great pre-run.
I noticed as I was looking at your Google profile that you had a couple of rather interesting videos linked to your site. One which is about your company, and another one which I was kind of surprised about. It was all about eyelashes.
Yeah. My daughter got into that business, so I did that for her. And actually, that's a local girl showing you how to use them.
Oh, really? It was kind of fun, and I thought, wow, she must have used about 4 different products on one eyelash.
We use 2, but there's a 4-step process. It's actually honeycomb and beeswax. It's natural, and she just put that on, a few fibers on, and then she puts that on again, a few more fibers, and taps to make sure that it's in, just the 2 different things, and her eyelashes were stunning.
Oh, they were. I was quite impressed, but I thought, wow. So that was one of the things I found on your Google Plus profile. Were those 2 videos. But I have been cruising around your profile, and I also went to your Facebook profile as well and learned a few things about you. Mm-hmm. And so I might be sort of pulling a few of those things in while we chat. But I thought a really good place to begin would be, you know, where did you grow up, and where did you go to school, and what did you study, and, you know, where did you start life?
Okay. I started my life in Edmonton, Alberta. I'm a prairie girl.
Uh-huh.
And I actually did live there till I left town when I was married. I had my first child, and we went to Nova Scotia. But I didn't know up until then that other than, you know, minus 30 degrees for a month at a time could be different. You might say I wasn't the swiftest, but I liked Edmonton when I grew up there. I would have never lived there again after I left. All my family was there, so it brought me back a lot. I went to university there. I did my high school in South Edmonton and University of Alberta. I started in a program of sciences and quickly changed into physical therapy.
Uh-huh.
So I did 4 years there and married a doctor that was in medical school at the time. Mm-hmm. And after our first child, he had done his program, you'll be interested in this, with the medical officer training program, and they sent us to Nova Scotia.
Oh, so it was it the military you went to Nova Scotia for?
Yes, the training base at the time was in Cornwallis.
Oh yeah.
We didn't live on the base. We lived just outside in a little place called Deep Brook, and my other 2 children were born in Digby. And I did a little bit part-time when I was there as a physiotherapist. Not a lot because I had 3 little kids.
Right.
But as soon as, when my youngest was a year old, he had done his 3 years and that was it. He wanted out. And so they asked where we wanted to go, and he got a job here on the island, and we came out here. So since 1978, I've been out here.
Ah, so that, yeah, I think you probably qualify as being a lifer here now.
I think so.
That long.
But it's interesting because it's only been the last couple of years I've thought to myself, I can't say I'm an Edmontonian, you know?
No,
Yeah.
right. Well, and I'm glad you explained that because when I saw that you lived in Nova Scotia, of course, being a maritimer, being from New Brunswick, I'm going, oh, I wonder what she was doing down there. So,
Beautiful. It was definitely beautiful. We loved it. But it was too far from our family. So we
oh
decided we wanted to be on the ocean, but we didn't want to be that far. So British Columbia was a lot closer to Alberta.
yeah. You know, I honestly think, well, I mean, you came from Alberta, so you weren't born with your feet in the water, but once you get hooked into being by the ocean,
Mm-hmm.
it's very difficult to not be by the ocean.
Oh, for
Very difficult.
sure. For sure.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely beautiful here. You know, I go back to Edmonton and I don't really see that beauty, but there are times of the year that are better than others. Nova Scotia was absolutely beautiful. And I
Yeah.
think live makes a big difference, you know, in your attitude, in your mood. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. So so you became you took physiotherapy and you did a little bit while you were raising your kids. So once you got here, is that when you opened your own clinic?
Yes, it is. We started out in Duncan because that's where he was offered a good job. So we
Mhm.
started out there, and I got to know them, and they needed a therapist in the hospital, but the hospital wasn't hiring. And one of my best friends had his own clinic down here in Victoria, and he said, "Just open a clinic." So I thought, I guess so, and I never looked back. Yeah, it was a very successful sports and orthopedic clinic, and I went from renting a space to joining arms with the doctors in town and building with them. And so I owned the clinic I was in for a long time, and then
Wow.
my life changed again.
So, but so was there were there more than one physiotherapist working in your clinic?
The plan was I would be a solo entrepreneur there, but because I had three children, after the first probably 3 months, I hired another one. So there were the two of us for 20 years. Mhm.
Uh-huh. Okay, right on. So, oh, that's interesting. So, what can you say that you learned from that business experience?
I think the biggest thing I learned was how to talk to people, how to interact, how to listen. You know, as a physiotherapist, you do your kind of assessment physically, but you're always talking. You know, and I'm in a small town. Duncan wasn't that big,
Mm-hmm.
so you know, you got to be friends with a lot of them too, and I really appreciated that. The one thing I often said to them, one day I'm not going to be seeing 40 people a day. I would love to chat with you more, but I have to go now. And you know what happened next? I ended up seeing two people a day. That's exactly the way I wanted it.
Wow. But 40 people a day, that's a heavy load.
That was a slow day. I had summers when I would be seeing way more than that, but honestly, I set up you do what you have to do to get a good treatment going for people.
Hmm.
And so I actually set up a gym in the little house next door and hired a kinesiologist. So I could do what I had to do with my hands-on work, but if they needed to do an exercise program, she would supervise the exercise program according to my instructions, and they would be there for another 45 minutes.
Oh.
So it worked really well. Yeah.
So a big lesson, a business lesson, of course, this is what I'm looking for, is that paying attention to what your clients need and figuring out what other resources you need to pull in to make that work.
That's right. And initially, what you do is you decide what you get paid per visit and what your overhead's going to be, and if it's going to work if you see only so many people, you know. And so, I mean, my break-even point, and I will tell you, in the 20 years I worked as a physiotherapist, I never had a raise from the medical plan. In fact, they took off when they put the $5 user fee on. They took it off of us.
What you took, what you would get. Wow.
So that was kind of interesting, but in the end, a few years before, we opted out of the medical plan so we could charge more, which was what people were doing then.
Mm. Hmm.
So it is a math
So,
game, a little bit of a math game. You know, you have to know your numbers.
yes, you do. You absolutely do need to know what your numbers are.
Mhm.
And often the average solo entrepreneur, especially female ones, I might say, they have a tendency to not want to look at that.
Yeah, yeah.
So and to not realize that they need to set their fees according to what their income or what their expenses are. They have to cover expenses first, and
Mhm.
then figure out how much they need to earn, so they can earn a living. And those are the things that need to set the fee, isn't it?
It is, and my experience in the entrepreneurial world I'm in now is I see a lot of people not understanding their own value. You know,
Mm.
yes, they should make something on top of their expenses, and a lot of them just don't even charge.
Oh dear. Oh
Yeah,
dear, oh dear, oh dear.
that's a whole other topic.
Well, so so I'm getting this sense. No, I want to go back. So what made you decide to leave? Was it just having had enough and kind of burnout, or was there another reason that made you decide well,
I
you're here in Victoria, you're not in Duncan anymore.
know
So
what happened. Things, you know, what you have to be careful what you ask for. First of all, I had started saying to my clients, one day I'll be seeing fewer people in a day. The next thing that happened is I had said to my husband, you know, in 2 years I'm not going to be doing this. I need a change. I feel I need a change.
mhm,
And almost 2 years to the day after that, I got bucked off my horse. I had a little head injury. I basically didn't go into work for a little while, and I sought treatment in Victoria. And the fellow that was treating me and helped me a lot within a week of treatment said, you had to get hit by a frying pan to come and do this work. So after I talked to him for a while, I realized it was exactly what I was looking for. So I let my partner continue the clinic, and I got a locum in
mhm.
and kept her for a couple years just to make sure that I didn't want to come back, and proceeded with my energy work, which is my body balance.
And that was where I was going to go. So what is body balance and how does it work? Because I did see a mention of that on your Google profile. So that was something that I wrote down. What is it and how does it work?
Well, it is alternative medicine, and what it is reconnecting primitive reflexes, fuses that have been blown when you have an injury throughout your lifetime. So, I mean, when you learned to ride your bike, when you fell down the stairs, when you tripped skipping rope, all of those things have to do with blowing fuses because it's been an injury. You can blow a fuse in your physical body. Are you okay? Okay. You can blow a fuse in your physical body. You can blow a fuse in your emotional body, spiritually, your chemical body too. You know, if you have food poisoning, a bad case of that, or the flu, you can blow a fuse. If your body's in balance, it's meant to heal itself. Normally, what happens when you're out of balance is your body's in defense. So I try and take people out of defense by resetting the reflexes, and it really is just an applied kinesiology program. It is called Neural Organization Technique. And if anybody wants to read more about it, the fellow that taught me is now living in Costa Rica, but his name is Sheel Tongri. His website has a lot about it, and he's even got a book on there, and it's kinesiologist.eu.
Oh, wow. So say that again, neuro something or other technique?
Neural Organization, Neural.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Organization technique. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So is that sort of related to or similar to things like acupuncture or acupressure or
We do use the Chinese medicine model. We do, and we use some of the points,
mhm,
part of the reflexes, but we're not pressing on them like an acupuncturist or acupressurist, and we don't use needles. and we wouldn't use all the points in the actual meridian, although every muscle system is connected to that meridian. So before you can even take the training in neural organization technique, there's another program you have to do called Touch for Health, which explains how to muscle test all the systems in the body.
Oh, really? Isn't this interesting?
Mm-hmm.
I love this this use of the I'm not sure I would agree with using alternative. I like the complementary idea better.
I agree with that too. That's good. You know, that's kind of new age, and I'm kind of old age. Actually, I'm on anti-age.
Yeah. Well, in our Embrace Aging session, that we recorded and haven't released as yet, three of us were talking about complementary versus traditional medicine and all of that, and it was suggested that it really makes a whole lot of sense to use the traditional medicine for when you get really sick and when some major organ breaks down, and all of that, and that we lean toward the complementary side for prevention and maintenance of good health.
That's exactly true.
And I mean that just makes such good sense, and it on so many levels, yeah. Isn't that interesting? So, I certainly will look that up. I would find that very interesting. I know I would. But I want to go back to the fact that you said you got bucked off the horse. So I noticed on one of your sites that I read, you said that there were a lot of lessons that your horses had taught you, and that just sparked my interest right away. So talk to me about your horsey experience.
I will. Now, I've always had dogs too. I don't have them right now. But if anybody owns a dog or a cat, you know that connection you have with them. Well, horses are really no different. And if you don't have the respect and that connection on the ground, it's difficult to get the same connection in the saddle. So, yeah, I've been bucked off a lot. Well, not a lot, but more than once. I've also fractured my arm in 12 places. And that was only in 2008. So that wasn't that long ago. The buck off, the first one was 98. But anyway, they teach me a lot because, you have to be kind, you have to be gentle, you have to listen. They've taught me to listen. They've taught me to pay attention. And when I ride my horse, it's to give him the least amount of anything to get him to do what I want. So I'm communicating with him. So if I ask him to side pass or move to the left, and I give him a little of my right leg, and he doesn't listen, I have to give him it harder. But I'll keep doing that till I've taught him that I'm only going to touch you, or I'm even going to look that way, and you're going to move. And that's the idea of communication. So they've taught me a lot, an awful lot. I talk to them, I hear them, I really feel I can communicate with them.
Wow. And so I mean that's a skill that must come in incredibly handy for the work that you're doing with body balancing as well.
Oh yeah, they both really do go hand in hand. And I actually do sometimes balance horses as well. And I even balance the rider to the horse.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
No, this is so interesting, and for our viewers, Cheryl comes to our weekly Mastermind quite frequently, and we're always talking about our businesses and so forth. And this is a part of Cheryl that I'm loving. I'm finding this really, really interesting and fascinating, and isn't it lovely the way knowing this rounds out our feeling about people when we get to as we're getting to know them. Well, I think that as we work in our business and that Google, for example, our Hangouts are allowing us to to do this and to get to know other businesses and possible clients and so forth, and to be able to kind of hear and listen and observe and engage. And I mean, it's fascinating to me that you've used horses to do that as well. Cool.
Well, and you know what? It's way better than an elevator speech. It's relationships. Elevator speeches aren't a relationship thing at all, really.
No,
Mhm.
no, they're not. Absolutely not. So, so I know that we're going to get to the other business. So you really have kind of two businesses running.
Right now I do, yes. And at other times I also did work at the Open Door downtown with Reverend Alan Tissick for a long time. And I worked with the homeless for about 6 years. And it was just another thing I felt like I needed to give back because I was in the learning process of all this energy work and just beginning that. And yeah, everything teaches you something. And it taught me a lot, and it sort of spurred me on to get busy with the energy work because I felt like I was connecting with people better.
That's wonderful. So, so I mean I don't think I even need to ask you what gives you joy in your work. I can tell what gives you joy in your work. I know that you have another product. You have a service. I mean, your business is kind of two-pronged, or is it two totally separate businesses?
Oh, they are separate in one sense, but my whole life has been about helping people. Starting way back in high school and all the way through, it's always like I always had to feel like I was contributing something, I was helping somebody, and that's where the two of these sort of meld. Because I actually have a lot of female clients. I have some male clients too, and my female clients have always asked for other things, and I give them, meaning we'll sit down and we'll chat about intuition, and I'll ask some questions, and I'll help discover who they are and why they don't feel good about themselves and what somebody has said to them that they need to let go of. And those kinds of things, they make a difference to somebody's healing, because if they're not in the right mindset, they don't even believe they can heal. And you and I both know that's part of this complementary medicine, is just knowing that you can do it. Yeah.
Mindset is incredibly powerful. It determines everything. So let's take a few minutes now, and I'd like you to sort of talk about your other business, the one that I know more about. And I did watch one of the videos on your Google Plus profile does work its way into that. So tell us all about this business and why you decided to get into it. What was it that attracted you? Was it because again, just helping people, or did you see kind of a link to the other work that you were doing? How did that all happen?
Well, my other business is Jeunesse Global, and it is an anti-aging skincare company with supplements for anti-aging and a new product they're bringing out as well now, which I'll tell you about later. But at the same time, I watched some friends of mine. I was in another company, and I watched how it was worked and how it happened, and I was intrigued by because I'm a numbers person, so I was intrigued by, how you get this residual income when you're finished. And this company I got into, it sort of fell apart about 3 years after I got into it, so I really didn't get going in it. Now, I'm in an MLM marketing business. It's not for everybody. Everybody doesn't want to do it, can't do it, won't spend the time doing it. It's not get rich quick. It's just a business. But what I like about it is it's done by handshake, it's done by person to person, and if I don't help other people do what I'm doing, and it's simple and duplicatable, then I'm not going to get anywhere. And if I help them and help them help other people, I'm helping them. And there are people out there with, like my daughter is a single mother in school right now, and basically not receiving her child support like she should be. There are people out there that they need to find something. The government isn't doing anything about that, and that's a whole other story. But I would say that besides helping people, it's not about helping them stay younger as such. The products are wonderful, or I wouldn't be in this company. And the girl that brought this company to Canada was a friend of mine, and she's already in this company making millions of dollars. So hers is about giving back. So she wants a legacy. She started an orphanage. It's just she can help so many people. People who are afraid to make money in MLMs because they are afraid to be rich don't even know they're afraid of it. But if they'd only look at what they can do for other people, it would be easier for them. There's just a lot to talk about as far as that goes. I would say that my Jeunesse business is the same as my balance business because I'm helping people. But I don't bring them up. If somebody's coming for a balance, I don't tell them, oh, you need to look at Jeunesse.
No, that probably would never work.
People don't know I do balance work.
Right. But you said something that is really key here. You said you were looking for something that was simple and duplicatable.
Yes, and it is. The system is so simple. It's a time thing, and I love people, so it's perfect for me. I like talking to people. I was just downtown today and talked to 4 different Chinese people in Chinatown that wanted to hear more. I want people that want to hear about it. I don't want to be bothering people that don't want to hear about it. And so, it's if I talk to somebody, I can help them make that small investment and get their money back in the first week. That's the way it works. And once they've got their investment back, well, gee, they don't have to be worried about anything. And it's not that they have to buy a franchise. They can't afford a franchise. They have to have a couple of friends that want to work with them. Yeah.
So how do you find your clients, Cheryl? What techniques do you use to locate a prospect?
First of all, know that in MLM there's a warm market and a cold market, and the cold market bit has sort of gone out the window a lot. As soon as you've talked to somebody and you have a bit of a relationship with them, they're a warm market client. So I don't email, I don't make cold phone calls. We have a technique, we have a training program, we have people working with us all the time that are there on a 3-way call. If I talk to somebody that's really interested and they have so many questions I don't even know how to answer them, which, I should know most of it now, but I don't make $50 million like some of them do, so I will put them on a phone call. And it's a 3-way call, so I learn by listening. And yeah, so how I find my clients, I am on Facebook, I'm on all the social media. I haven't used a lot of Google because I'm still learning it, but I just put it out there, and if people contact me, I follow through. So it's the follow-up that's really important. I have quite a few clients in other areas of North America because I am on Facebook, and yeah, and I have clients locally as well.
So you just put it out and hope that people sort of express a little interest, and then you follow through. How do you follow through? Let's say there's somebody from Facebook that says they're kind of curious about this. Do you connect with them as you and I are speaking now, or do you phone them, or how do you go from there?
Well, the first thing I do is we chat on Facebook, and I will offer them a free sample. So they'll give me their address and their email, and I'll send them a free sample. And then from there, after I've given them 10 days to 2 weeks after they've got it, to use the sample of the serum for their face, that might not even be what their biggest interest is, but that is the only sample we give out. So after that, I'll get back to them on chat, but then I follow up. If they want to know more and they're interested in ordering product, then I either phone them or I Skype them, because most of them don't know anything about Google Hangouts yet.
Right.
But when we're training, we do all our training now on Google Hangouts.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, so your upline people are into this and using it.
Yes. Yes, and I'm in the audience, and we get a chance to type out questions that if they
Mhm.
don't answer while they're on there, they get back to us afterwards.
Yeah,
It works very well.
yeah. Yes, we talked not long ago on the Mastermind about different ways of working with our teams and how this platform as well as others are really they're coming into their own, and they're going to make working internationally a thing that we can do. The only barrier we have now internationally is the time difference.
Yeah, that's true. And every time you go on a webinar, you think, what time do they talk about? Pacific, Eastern?
Yeah.
But my leader actually has, because the Google Hangouts do go to YouTube, don't they?
Yes, they do.
That's where they're held. She's created a page, and that's called, her name is Kathleen, so she calls it Kathleen TV.
Oh,
So
really? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, yeah, that's neat. So, Jeunesse. Now, I'm and also looking at the clock, because we kind of agreed we would try to keep this to as close to 30 minutes as we can. But I know that you have just received an announcement about a new product, and I'd really like to. I'm curious. What's the new product? And is there something that you specifically want to promote in either one of your businesses before we close out? So tell us all about this new product first.
The new product is called Zen Body, and it is new science. It's amazing. They actually launched it in Macau, but today, for the first time, we got some more details on it. So this product will be coming out in the next month or two, and I've formed a Facebook page group for people that want more information, and I've posted a little video today on it that tells them a little bit more about the product, so I don't have to go into it too much, but I can tell you that it's 3 components. Out of those 3 components, the last component is just one of convenience. If you only use 2 of the components, you will receive the benefits of this package. Now, the benefits are hormone balance by increasing your leptin, using amino acids with really good quality, along with some African mango, some raspberry ketones, a little bit of Garcinia gamboa or something. Garcinia. Everybody will know what I mean if they read this or if they hear this. And what this does is your leptin, if you have enough leptin, crosses the blood-brain barrier, tells your body you're full and you don't need to store fat. What's happening to all of us as we get older is we're losing muscle tissue, and our body's burning muscle tissue because it's storing fat, because what happens when your leptin levels decrease is they form this double molecule, and it doesn't get through your brain barrier, so your brain barrier thinks it needs to keep storing fat, so it burns muscle. So they're actually going to just change that a bit. And so really the first product is a capsule. The second one is an amino powder that you put in water and drink it twice a day, and it just keeps you full. It keeps your body making protein, and they're essential amino acids that your body doesn't have unless you take them in. So that's basically the basis of it. It's a fat loss, not a weight loss. You'll lose inches before you'll lose pounds. But it is naturally slimming if you're a person with fat on your body. If your body quits storing it.
But it sounds to me, as from the explanation that you gave, that it would be extremely important, especially as we age, to be doing something that's going to allow the body to build muscle.
Well, it actually will build muscle even if you don't do much. They have a lifestyle portion of it that says if you do 20 minutes of exercise 3 times a week, you're doing your part. So of course there's lifestyle. I mean, you can't drink a lot of alcohol and do all of that and still abuse your body while you're trying to heal your body. But it's not the go burn out at the gym that the older people can't do. No. You will continue to burn while you're sitting, but what's happening now when we're sitting is we're burning our muscle, not our fat. because our body's going, because we've got not enough leptin in there. We're resistant to it.
So this leptin sounds like something that we all need to do a little bit of research about and get a good understanding of how it works and what it is. I've not heard of it before, so.
Well, I hadn't either. I would Google leptin resistance, and there's a lot of articles that probably started in about 2009 on leptin resistance. So and the doctor that developed this he's a product of the product while he did it, and he worked on it for 10 years.
Wow.
This doctor is 63, and he's got a six-pack on his abdomen, and he's healthy and fit, and he does not look 60 years old. But, you know, he has the upper knowledge to have been using a lot of other things. Yeah.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
So you're saying that, and it's called Zen Body, and so therefore we need to be watching for it, right?
It's Zen Body, B-O-D-I, and and my Facebook group is Zen Body Challenge with Cheryl, and you won't find a lot except the Asians, because they got it early, have got a lot of things on Facebook about Zen Body that I don't know whether if I believe it or not. So I'm getting it straight from the horse's mouth before I share it. Yeah.
Zen Body Challenge with
Cheryl.
Okay.
That's the group. Now, as far as my energy work goes, I have never advertised it. It's been word of mouth, and the reason is I feel that people that come to me by word of mouth kind of have an idea that how I'm balancing the body, and they're not coming expecting me to cure everything, because I don't do that. I let your body do what it has to do. And if you come with a backache, it might decide to get rid of your stomach ache first, you know?
Oh, that's cute. So that's interesting. So for people who are watching this this interview later, how do they find you if they're interested in your body work? You've told us how to find you if they're interested in your products, but what about your body work? How would they get a hold of you for that?
They can get a hold of me on Facebook at Own Your Sparkle with Cheryl.
Ah, I saw that. In fact, on your Google Plus profile, I saw live longer, look younger, be the best you can be, and own your sparkle. And that own your sparkle really jumped out for me. So
I have that. That's a name I've got for my next website. But yeah.
Oh, right on.
If you own your sparkle, you can find out everything there is. You might find it out on my personal Facebook page too. But I'm on Twitter. I'm on Cheryl Relf. I'm on I don't know, Pinterest, Google Plus, LinkedIn.
Well, and it certainly sounds as though you've really caught on to how to make social networking work for your businesses.
Well, I think it's important too that you don't just rely on that, and I think for people starting out it can be too much to think about it all. I would say, you know, get your foothold going in your area before you worry about it. If you're a whiz at social media, yeah, go for it. But if you have to figure it all out, you could waste all your time doing that and get nowhere.
That's right.
And I know that because I've gone there.
Well, and of course, I would say it. I would add to that if you're not a whiz at that, it's better to start out with one and learn how to do it well.
Yes.
And then once you've gained the comfort level with one, then it's easy to sort of move on to some of the others. But
well,
there's so many entrepreneurs that. Pardon?
For me, other than having my profile on everything, other than Twitter and Facebook and Pinterest, I don't do a lot in the other areas yet, because you're right, I just don't have the time to do that all.
Yeah. So it's, but it is really, I mean, it's important that we be somewhere in a fairly significant way. But it just really, we don't, as solo entrepreneurs, we don't have the time to become knowledgeable in all of them. So it doesn't make sense to try to begin with.
That's right, and I might say this to any solo entrepreneur that's listening. Never give up. Don't give up. That next little thing might be right around the corner, and if you love what you're doing, that's all that matters.
Isn't that the truth?
Mm-hmm.
So now, did you have an announcement or anything that you would like to tell us as a parting shot?
Well, I think the last thing I said is about the biggest thing I can think of right now. I don't have any announcements other than our new product, and we've already discussed it.
Right. Right on. Well, Cheryl, I really thank you for participating with me in this. I feel as though I've learned a lot more about you, and I love what you're doing. And
Okay.
I think that um, the opportunity to get to know people on this kind of deeper level is so important for all of us when we're doing business. So I hope that viewers will enjoy what they heard about Cheryl and her business as well. So thank you so much, Cheryl.
I want to say thank you to you. I guess I'll have to take you out for coffee and learn more about you.
Well, that could be done. That would be fun. So I want to close this session now with an invitation to join my weekly Mastermind Hangout called Being Your Own CEO. We're there to give and receive support and to help remove some of those stumbling blocks that a lot of solo entrepreneurs experience. And if you'd like to know more about my solo enterprise programs, be sure to visit my website, which you can see on the screen here. So this is Loa Ann, your solo enterprise coach, signing off for now.